Howdy once again. It's tubalcain, your YouTube shop teacher. Welcome back to the shop. And today I'm starting a two-part video series, and this is part one. And the series will deal with the apprentice toolbox. Now, several other creators have done similar videos. I took a look at them and they're very good, but this will be my version of it. And part one here is just a discussion on toolboxes, Kennedy boxes, Gerstner boxes, and what you ought to have and what you expect to pay and where to find one and all that if you don't already have one. So join me in the video, and thank you for watching my videos and supporting my channel. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in many, many more, I hope. Let me start here talking about Kennedy boxes, and even though this says Craftsman on it, Craftsman sold them, made by many different people over the years, but the brown crinkled finish and the appearance of this knob here tells me that it was made by Kennedy for Craftsman, and just put their badge on it. This is not all that old of one, but this man died. You might remember a video where I bought this. I forgot what I paid, but it wasn't a whole lot, under $50. And these are real nice toolboxes. You know, I probably got 10 of them, but not all of them are filled, including this one. This one has been jimmied here at some point because somebody lost the key or somebody was breaking into it and stealing it. And they all have a cover like this, but I hate the covers because I don't really take mine out of the basement here. But if you work someplace, you probably want to lock it every night. I think they usually do if there's other employees there. You're not the only person, so that's what the cover is for. Sometimes I put these in a crawl space out of the way. Most of these boxes, when you close the lid, there's two little pins here, and I'll show you that in another box, but this one is not made that way. When you close the lid and then turn the lock, it locks both the door here and the top of it. I don't have the key, nor do I care that I don't have the key. Let me show you what it looks like on the inside. You see this? I've never seen one made like that, where this would rotate and this part lock the door and this part lock the top. Maybe this one isn't a genuine Kennedy, or it was specified by Sears to make it that way. Probably cheaper. You see this Craftsman box, when you unbuckle it right there, did you see that pop up? When that popped up, it released the two pins that hold this. So there's a pin here, perhaps you can see the top of it, and a pin right here. And those are the locks, and get in there. They go into these two little holes here. So this is probably a little better, and a little ball here, so that's locked in two places, not just one place. And I've seen plenty of these with doors all bent and jimmied. And I think sometimes a machinist gets to work in the morning and he didn't bring his key along, and he can't get through the day without the tools, so he just forces it open. I know I would. This is my first Kennedy box. My father gave that to me when I was 16 years old in high school, and I've had it ever since, so it's my favorite because of that. And you've seen this in other videos. It's still in remarkably good shape, just a little bit of rust here on the plating, but still ready to go to work. And at that time, well, the year before, my dad gave my brother a Gerstner chest. So when Dad gave this to me, I was a little disappointed. You know, we got the old sibling rivalry going there, that my brother gets the expensive oak chest and I get a tin one. So I was hurt. Still am. Okay, the average Kennedy chest is 20.5 inches long. It opens at the top for your larger tools, maybe hammers and things like that. And when you open this up, get it out of the way, of course you've got, 7 drawers. So this is called the 7-drawer chest. And there are drawers that are about 1 inch and then a wider one here, as well as the two longer ones. They usually come with some separators too, and I don't see any in this one. This is a used chest, but it's in nice condition. We got a little paint falling off right there, but you will soon outgrow this. But I'm going to show you what to put into it in the next video. But you'll soon outgrow this, and I'll show you how to overcome that. Well, you can overcome it, of course, with more boxes. Plus what I have in the other room. You know, this isn't meant to be a bragging session. I hope this is fun. So as your selection of tools increases, you can buy what I call a riser. Some people call it a base. I'm not sure what Kennedy calls it. But there you got two more drawers, and of course your box fits on there perfectly. So this is 22 inches. That's why you see the 22 down here on that number. And this gives you two more drawers, and this is a nice deep drawer also for hammers and wrenches and things like that. So this is just a wonderful thing that you can grow like this with your toolbox. And I'm going to tell you the prices here in a minute. You can see here on my dad's chest that at some point here I came across a riser, and this one isn't in very good condition, but and it's missing a knob, but nevertheless it's still a good unit. But before I got that, I welded up that's 1/4 inch plate with two ends on it so that I could slide things underneath and increase the bench space, and I decided to use that even with the riser. Now this gets pretty tall so that I can hardly see into the top here without getting on my tiptoes, but nevertheless it's a good deal. And that again is on that Craftsman base. You've seen that before, but you can get a Kennedy base too, but it'll cost you a king's ransom. Let me tell you the price on these units here now in the Kennedy brand, and they're available from KBC and other suppliers, and these are KBC's prices, but perhaps they go on sale from time to time. But the genuine Kennedy in this size, 7 drawer, is $290. The base down here, or riser, is $200. So you know, it's darn near as much for this as it is for this, which is kind of surprising. Now if you get it in the wider one, which I'm going to show you in a minute here, which is the 8 drawer, that's going to cost you $360 new, and the base $220. Not a whole lot different because they just made it a little bit longer. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but the base has handles here on the side, so you can carry it. Let me talk just a little bit about Gerstner chests while I'm at it here. And if you don't know what a Gerstner chest is, they are oak chests. They're beautifully made. They're almost like a piece of furniture. They're just beautifully finished, but they are not affordable. And that's why I guess I was jealous of my brothers. But anyway, a Gerstner chest in this size, and they got a website. I don't know if KBC or these other companies sell them, but they got a website, so check that out, gerstner.com or something like that. You can do a search for that. But a Gerstner chest will cost you $800 for the top and $800 for the riser. Now I don't know why that's about the same, but if you get it in the wider one, the so-called 8 drawer, that's $1,800. Well, you can buy a good used car for that almost, and the base for that would be $800 as well. So you can see that they're not affordable, although I guess they are to some people. And you won't see a whole lot of them. You very seldom see them used at auctions, and if you do, either they're incredibly old and beat up and all discolored and full of grease and stuff like that, where I wouldn't want them anyway, but although I think some people buy them to restore them. But you have to fight the antique dealers and the women for those. Women love them if they're nice for jewelry. They're just perfect to put necklaces and, you know, and brooches and all that stuff in. So women like those. I guess they put them on their dresser. I don't really know. So that makes them unaffordable even as used items, let alone as new. And I really like these. I tell you what I don't like about Gerstner chests. The drawers will come out. They'll fall out. And let me tell you a little story. I remember my dad, after my brother brought it back from someplace. My dad was carrying it down the stairs into the basement, and he tipped it the wrong way. All the front fell off, and all the drawers came out, hit the floor. Some of them got cracked. I know the knobs were damaged, and my brother was just sick about it, and so was my dad. So the drawers will come out, and that's super annoying. And of course, they're very subject to moisture and water damage. But I'm not saying anything bad about the Gerstner chest. I used to really want one. Now I don't really care. You can find a lot of these Craftsman boxes at garage sales, and I paid maybe $10 for this, and I got another one that I gave to my grandson Jordan for that I paid $5 for, in better condition than this, and he keeps his tools and junk in it. And these are perfectly nice boxes. They might be made by Kennedy. They do have the same knobs, although maybe those were made by another supplier for all of the companies. I don't know really who made this, but it does have the buttons and everything there. It has the dividers. They normally come with these dividers for several drawers. Not all the drawers, but usually there's a long divider like this too, and they're held in with springs like that. So watch for these. You usually get these real cheap because they're not brown and it doesn't say Kennedy on them, but they're obviously Sears sold them in many different versions over the years. You know what, showing this 7-drawer Kennedy box is a little bit of a repetition because it's no different than the others, but I thought you might like to go back and watch this video where I actually buy this and talk about it and show you a surprise inside. But if you don't want to go look at that video, I took just a short clip out of there, and I'll show that right now if you'll bear with me. One thing I noticed different on this box is that this little pull, I've been calling these knobs, but they're pulls. That pull is a die-cast zinc, whereas all of the other ones that I've ever seen over the years are plastic, and it's actually held on with a couple tiny little hex head bolts. So this one is in absolutely perfect condition. I believe that's the one that I'll show in the follow-up video as the apprentice toolbox that I fill up with tools. So watch this clip now. I think you'll like it. Thanks for staying with me. I notice it's quite heavy, and I haven't looked inside it yet, so it's real cold out today. I think I'll go in the house and I'll open that up and we'll have a little unveiling to see what's in those drawers, because maybe there's some tools in there. It's mighty heavy. I brought this Kennedy box into the house because it's cold outside, but it sure seemed heavy when I was carrying it from the garage, so I'm wondering if there's stuff in the drawers, but those all look empty. I have to open the top and see if there's something in there. Well, I opened the lid of the box and look what was in there. Well, of all things, it's my new grandson, 1-month-old Henry. How you doing, Henry? Oh, Henry! You know, I want to raise this kid right, so I'm going to start him reading micrometers here very soon. Hi, buddy. What does he weigh now, about 8 pounds? Mm-hmm. He's 8 pounds now. He was about 7 pounds, so, you know, I guess if Keith Fenner can come out of a toolbox, my grandson can too. And this is Henry now, standing next to one of the toolboxes that you saw in a video a couple years ago. Remember that? Henry, say hi.
No, no.
Why not? Why not say hi? Here's a Craftsman box I've had for a long time. It's a bit rusty down here, but note the logo on there. But the way I've got this situated under a shelf, I'm not really able to use the top compartment very well because I can't get into it. But this is one that is filled with my tools. You've seen a toolbox tour of that. I probably need to do those toolbox tours again because this is all changed. Here's a box I've had for several years and I never have filled it yet, so this is empty. There are handles on both ends of these longer, what we call 8-drawer boxes. This has been jimmied a bit here also, or dropped. And this is reinforced here real well, I guess, because this toolbox can weigh a lot. And I suppose somebody might sit on there or something, so that's reinforced. Maybe so they can make it out of thinner metal, I really don't know. But there is no handle here. You have to hold it by the ends. It would be too heavy. They're all felt lined, but notice that it's Craftsman when I opened it up. Probably made by Kennedy, but who knows. And this is, I think I said it already, this is an 8 drawer. And they have nice slides on them, and the drawers don't come all the way out. I'll get back to this in just a second. I covered this in a recent video, but this rem line here is really a nice one because it's got 11 drawers. I don't know if Kennedy makes one with 11 drawers, so it's a little bit higher than the Kennedy boxes, and that's a matching rem line base. And I think I told you my wife gave this to me either for birthday or anniversary a long time ago. She went right to the factory store, which is no longer there in Yorkville, Illinois. But you're going to find probably Waterloo boxes too that are made up like this, or like the Kennedy boxes. I'm not sure how many manufacturers there are, but Kennedy is by no means the only one. You know, I've been asked by countless people, what's the purpose of this center drawer in these longer boxes? And of course, the purpose is it's a place to keep your cheese curds. Now, some people that have a sweet tooth prefer to keep M&Ms in there, and that'll work too, but I like to keep my cheese curds in there. But some people mistakenly believe that that is a drawer where you keep machinery's handbook, and just because it coincidentally fits in there. And coincidentally has a finger hole in the bottom to push the machinist book out, but actually I believe that the hole in the bottom is used, can you see that or not? That's used to brush crumbs out of there. But you could keep your machinery book in there if you had a notion. You know what, many people put clips or some way here in the lid where they can put their charts and little books and things. Years ago I put the spring in here. It's just a long spring, and that can hold some of my charts and my booklets and things. I don't know why they don't do that at the factory, because you need a place to do that. So that's an idea for you. This is just a long spring. I don't even remember where I got it. And I clipped that onto the ends here. There's holes. You know what, in all the years I've been in the business, I've never seen another box like this, and you can see that it's a Craftsman. I don't know why they got the label up on the top here, but it's like a half box. I think it's made for half-winded machinists. I'm not sure, but got a little cover on it. A typical appearance, but maybe not made by Kennedy because it has knobs on it. I've never seen one with knobs on it. It does have the crinkle finish, but we got some rust going on in here. And they had trouble here keeping paint on the drawers. And this is one where I do have stuff in here. Punches, I guess that's all punches and little pliers and things like that. But this is a nice box as an overflow box, or one that you could put some specialized tools in that you're going to carry around to the job. But I don't know if they still sell them. Like I say, this is the only one I've ever seen. I don't ever remember seeing them in a catalog either. So take that for what it's worth. These 8-drawer chests are about 27 inches long, so of course you need a riser, and they make them. And here's one over here. I do not have an empty one to show you. And you're not going to see that many risers. And sometimes at an auction they're going to sell them separate, and the riser may cost every bit as much as the chest itself. So watch for a riser. They are so handy. Don't leave home without one. Nothing beats a good cup of coffee when you're in your shop. Well, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the video. Be sure and watch part 2, where I'm going to talk about what you ought to have in your chest as a beginner, and maybe some things that you ought to accumulate as your life goes on. And I hope that you guys will show up for my estate auction, whenever that may be, because you can see I got a lot of stuff here for you guys to bid on. So that concludes this episode. This is tubalcain saying so long for now, and I'll see you in part 2.